my Hitch the Stitch YouTube video. Today is a little bit of a different video. I've decided that I've just started making some craft podcasts, and I think it'd be nice to go through. Started really making again during 2020, as everyone did during lockdown times, and I thought it'd be nice to do a sort of roundup of everything that I've made so far, so I can get to the record now, at least of the things that I still have and want to keep or have kept. And yeah, if I can find some gift stuff, because I've made a fair few things for friends and family, if I have pictures of those I might share those, but otherwise this is everything that I have in my wardrobe. So this video is for all of my knitting and crochet. So particularly when I got back into crafting, crochet is what did it for me just before lockdowns, actually in the summer before. So it was a good time to get into a new hobby and be ready for it. And so I'll sort of go through, I think in an order somewhat like when I made them. So for my crochet and knitted garments. So I'll start now. One of the first things that I made, probably not the first thing. I made some early crochet tops that I don't know where they were. There was a crochet drink bottle holder. If I remember, I'll go get that actually at the end. But that was like practicing and learning the techniques, and then pretty quickly I wanted to make a garment. So this was one of the first things that I made. I really wanted to make something with super wide sleeves, which admittedly is not that practical in terms of I can't wear it when I'm cooking or anything like that, but I absolutely love this. It's got a super wide neckline. I'll try it on. All of these will have try-ons. And it's done with, I believe this was double crochet. I haven't crocheted in a long while. Yeah, I forgot what it's actually called. But it's really, really nice. I actually get a lot of compliments on this one. It's quite cropped, as you'll see, and it just falls really, really nicely. This was just my own making. I knew what I wanted, and so for the bands, these bands, I crocheted them in this pattern, just in a long strip, and then decreased at, if you can see that, decreased to a point so that I could sew it all together, and all of these bits were sewn together, except for this. Once I got to the body, I just went down in the round, but the neckband and everything like that was sewn on to get that particular different pattern. Yeah, no, it's quite warm. It's very heavy and bulky, so I can't wear it under like jackets or anything like this, but I really like it, and I wear it actually quite a fair bit, and I'm very happy with this one. There are some other things that I've made that maybe are up on my Instagram that I don't have anymore, so I won't be sharing those, that just didn't turn out so well, or my skills developed to a point that I couldn't really see myself wearing them anymore, so I took them to an op shop and donated them, and hopefully they got some love. Otherwise, yeah, there is a bit of a learning process, and sometimes it just means that some things aren't loved as much, but yeah, that's one of my first makes. Another one was a pattern actually by Petite Knit, the Sunday sweater. I think it was a Sunday sweater. I've just got some notes up here. Yes, it's a Sunday sweater, and I picked this really fun, beautiful yarn colour, this yellow. It's just a mohair that I picked up from Spotlight, and I held it double, and I get so many compliments on this all the time. Every time I wear it, someone says something. I think the colour's just really bright and happy, and it's nice and flowy. I really love it. I think I'm kind of tempted to make another one. When I first made it, I wasn't that happy with it. I wasn't unhappy with it, but it wasn't, I could see all my mistakes. If you see up close here, the knitting, it sort of stretches out where I'm supposed to be decreasing. So my skills at tensioning just weren't that great at the time. But I'm the only one that seems to notice that, so people that don't make these things don't really notice or pick up on that. And there's only one other thing that it bothers me a little bit. If you can see, there's a little dot there. It's actually not a stain. It's just a dark spot on the yarn. But I just wear it at the back and it's fine. But yeah, I really love this one. I just made it exactly to pattern. I didn't gauge swatch at the time. I was very much still a beginner and didn't really think about that sort of stuff. I was just like, oh yeah, 2 bits of mohair held together, I'm sure it'll make a fine sweater. So I can't remember what size that I actually knitted. Next time I would be doing a gauge swatch, but it's turned out perfectly. So yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I love this yellow colour. It's very happy and bright, and I love wearing it in winter actually, especially. You know, just nice and bright in the office for work. Yeah, it makes me nice and happy, so I really like this one. The next one I have to show you is, it took about, I don't know, well over a year, because I kept on getting annoyed, fed up, putting it to the side, not because it's not beautiful, but because it was just so much work. This is, I call it my sea creature top, and I crocheted each and every one of these creatures individually, and it took forever. And then once that was done, I had to sew them all by hand with some thread all together, and then to connect it all properly and fill in the gaps, I did this chainette crochet to make it look like coral, connecting all of the little creatures. So here we've got shell, which I did in different sizes. There's a turtle here, there's a whale there, different type of shells, fish, what else we got, a different type of fish here, and here it's the same thing, then a different type of fish, starfish. What else have we got? There's a dolphin, if you can see that dolphin, bubbles. That was just me being maybe a little bit lazy, but finding something small to put in between the different bits. We've also got seahorses. The seahorses are really cute, and jellyfish. Something I haven't done yet for this one is block it. I never blocked any of these bits and pieces. I like that on the back, this is like the center back, and then on the front, I've got two starfishes over the boobs, which is quite fun. Of course, I wear a like tank top or crop top or something underneath this, but yeah, I think it is really beautiful. People, you know, I haven't worn it an awful lot. Oh, there's a different type of starfish. I haven't worn it an awful lot, and that's a shame. I've maybe worn it 3 times. I wore it to Taylor Swift Eras tour when I sat outside in Melbourne because I didn't get tickets. But I wanted to be in that sort of pastel, I guess I was doing the Lover era sort of a look that night, and it was just a great excuse to wear something a little bit extravagant. So I got to wear it then. I modeled it, the way that I made the pattern for the actual top is I have a long sleeve top that's cropped and has wide sleeves, and I just modeled it exactly off that. So I put it like the top down flat on the ground, and I just laid out all my pieces. You know, say I was doing this part of the front, and I'd lay them all out in the pattern that I wanted, and start stitching them all together and keep on laying it on top and making sure that it was going to meet the right pattern. So it was a lot of work, and I'm very glad that I did it still, but it took a very long time. But yeah, I think since I don't get to wear it that often, I want to do something else with it. I think I want to finally block it, would be nice, and either frame it or put it on the wall in like, yeah, a big frame ideally, as like an art piece. I think it's I really like it. It's fun. It's a little bit extraordinary in terms of how much effort went into it, and it is very beautiful and playful. And so I think that would give it a bit more life, rather than just being in my closet, only seeing the light of day when I've got something to wear it to. So that's something I think I'd like to do, and maybe I'll do a little YouTube video of all the little bits of art pieces that I want to put up that are either made by me or art that I've collected that I've got to put into a certain, frame, or make them something special to put on the wall or something like that. But yeah, this is a very special work. I used the same yarn thinking I'd make a matching skirt, and I wanted it to be in like a wave pattern, which is nice, but I don't really like it. I'm not really a mini skirt person, for one thing. I like midi to like either at the knee or longer, preferably, midi to long skirts is what I'll wear. So already a mini skirt's not great, and I just had a chain in there to tie it and cinch it in so it actually fits, because obviously it's got to fit over the hips and then come in at the waist. Yeah, I've worn this a very few times, and mostly just around the house. I think I'd like to give this to a friend, maybe for a festival or something that they would, get a bit more wear and love out of. It is fun. It's just not for me, I think, in the end. But I think it's a wave crochet pattern I just found in one of my crochet pattern books for the stitches. And yeah, that was just using up the leftover yarn. But I would never wear them together. It is far too much. Like, even if I did like this skirt, it is far too much to have them both together. It's a bit overwhelming. So to be worn separately, if anything. So yeah. One of the first knits that I got back into, or actually, before I go to that, let's keep with the crochet theme, and I made a bikini. So this is the bottoms, and this is the top. This is one of the first things that I made in crochet. I really like the combination of colours, and I just combined them all without the deep blue. I don't know if you can see that. For the straps, and I made them very thick so that they would be sturdy. I do have quite large boobs, so I need a bit of support there. It does fit, and it fits quite well actually, especially on the top. But I haven't worn it an awful lot because when it gets wet, it as bathers should, I don't know, it feels looser, so you have to you do have to do it up again. And these bikini bottoms are really nice, but I might still go back and fix this, but it's a really long crotch. So I might take out, a row or two to make it just a little bit shorter and sit a little bit lower on the waist, not so high in the area that you don't want to be showing off an awful lot. Yeah, but it's quite a fun bikini, and I have worn it a couple times in Byron Bay once. That was fun. But yes, again, with the bottoms, you do have to make sure that tie them up really tight. Otherwise, once it gets wet, it will stretch just that little bit. I believe I used just a cotton yarn for these. And yeah, it worked really well. So that was one of my first crochet things as well. I think it's very common for people that start crochet, they make like a bralette top or something like that. Yeah, so my first knit, I believe, when I got back into knitting was this one here. This is just the yarn itself. It's this gorgeous color changing yarn. I've actually got still a ball, so I could tell you what it is. Never mind, I have the ball, but I don't have the thing on it anymore, so I can't tell you what it is. But this is the ball in that form, and it knit up into this gorgeous sweater, and I actually wear it a lot. It's really, really nice. I believe it is the, let me check. Sorry. It is the Louisiana sweater, also by Petite Knit, I believe. I mean, it's a great sweater. It is, I'm a bit lazy, so I always I wear this so often, but every time I just tuck this in into the sleeve, and I mean, no one notices. But I really, oh, I love this knit. I think I should put in an elastic up the top. At the bottom, without the double hem, it's stretched out a bit. It used to be a fair bit tighter. Oh, and here's my little tag that I put on things that I make. It says handmade with love by Zoe. It's really nice, especially when I get to give it to people, something that I've made to people, to have like a little tag saying that. Yeah, and just reminding them that it's handmade for them is nice. But yeah, I wear this a lot. Very happy with it. Again, when I did this, I'm not sure if it's the normal fit, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's close to it, but I didn't gauge swatch or I believe pick the yarn even. I think I just saw that on the ball it said, this many stitches, and it roughly corresponded to the pattern. So I just said, great, going for it. But yeah, it's really nice. I also bought a lot of the wool because I didn't know how much I would need. Very new to it and just had no idea, no concept of, and I probably could have just read on the pattern now, like X, amount of grams, but yes, now I know better. I just picked up a lot of yarn at the time, which actually turned out really well because I made the Snowfield Slipover by, I might have to get her name and put it on the screen. I haven't actually seen many people, at least in the knitting community, there's lots of talk about vests and sweater vests and all that sort of stuff. And I haven't really heard people mention the Snowfield Slipover too much. And I think it's just such a beautiful pattern. Just the shaping on the sleeves is really great, like the way that it comes up. There's no German short rows or anything, or short rows, but that's the back, and then it comes over longer for the front, and the way that it comes in at the neck I think is really beautiful. Oh, it's such a great slipover. I really love it. And so for this one, I didn't want to make the exact same, just without sleeves essentially, as the Louisiana sweater. So I found a red mohair that I thought would, make this a little bit interesting. I hope it's coming out on camera, the difference. Maybe I'll compare them again. Yeah, you can see this a bit more purple and dulled down, whereas this one gives it a bit more of a raspberry pop. And I really like that choice. I think it was a great choice, and I did run out of mohair towards the end. So what I did was I knew that this section here wouldn't be seen, so I chopped the mohair for here. Didn't use mohair for, I don't know, 2-3 inches, and then started using mohair again to finish it off. It's a good little hack. I was really playing yarn chicken with that one. I wear this a lot as well, even in some of the spring, summer, autumn months on those cold nights. It is a great, vest to put over and keep your body just that little bit more warm. I can't rave enough about the Snowfield Slipover. I think more people should be making it and appreciating this pattern. It's maybe I just haven't seen the people that have been making it, but it is so good, and I would highly recommend it as a vest pattern. I'm not really into for me, I think that the V-neck, some of the vest patterns that I've seen around, I don't think would suit me and my body so much, or my style. Unfortunately, I cannot pull off like preppy, or like as nice as it looks on other people, preppy, or what's another word for that, like a bit more, I don't know, like feminine, preppy, girly, but yeah, I don't know, cool, I guess. I can't pull off the cool stuff as much, so I like something like this where it's just really beautiful, and does the same job, but feels a bit more, yeah, a bit more me. Alright, just setting up again. My phone got overheated and just died because it's very hot here today in Melbourne. Got 37, 38 degrees. So there's actually one more thing I wanted to say about the Snowfield Slipover, and it is one of the things I got back into knitting in about June, July last year and really got into it. So now I've been knitting ever since quite a lot. And this was, I think, the first project that really started that again. So most of the things from now, well, everything from now except for something that I've realised I've just forgotten, is from mid last year, getting back into knitting. So before we get to that, when I got into crochet, I made all these little bucket bags as well. This one holds all my zippers for sewing. They're just little bits and pieces. This one sometimes held yarn. You can see a bit of yarn there. This holds all my scraps from sewing or knitting, and then I use those to either stuff things. Say I'm making little amigurumi. I have no idea how to say those. Or anything that needs to be stuffed, pillow, whatever, I use scraps so that nothing's wasted. Then there's two more of those, just using some really thick, the t-shirt yarn. And this is my last one and my most fun one. It's the biggest as well. I just thought it'd be more fun to have like a little design on there, so I put a whale. To do that, I looked up, I think on Pinterest maybe, a whale like cross stitch pattern, and then just stitched according to that, crocheting. So the second jumper that I made during winter this past year was this. Actually, I was more going into spring, but I made the Dahlia sweater by I Knit, I believe. Oh, let me just, oh, my notes are gone. I Knit. Okay, chunky Dahlia sweater. It's absolutely beautiful. I think that actually this wouldn't be too bad for a beginner, even as like your second sweater. It was written very well. I think it's a really, like, it looks complicated, but as long as you follow what you're supposed to be doing and you've got stitch markers in between each of the sections, it's actually very easy to follow along, and not very difficult at all. And it's nice cinched in, little arm there, little waist. I think it's very heavy, so I'm going to have to, I think I should put in an elastic in the neck at least, if not the wrists, and maybe even the bottom as well, because I don't want it to stretch out like my Louisiana sweater. But it's absolutely beautiful. I'll see if you can see that up close. There is like this sparkly shimmer to it, and there's got the nice fuzz, if you can see the fuzz. So I chose these yarns. I've actually got a couple of them here. Okay, I just made a big old mess trying to find those. But this is what I originally had, this Abbey Road. What is it? It's 52% merino wool, 48% acrylic. It's called Wool to be Wild. And it was really boring, the blue. I couldn't see myself making and wearing something that was just, it's a nice color, but there's something just a little bit boring about it. So I added in this light blue mohair, and to give it that extra little pizzazz, I found this yarn here. It's got this beautiful shimmer to it, and I just held all three together and it made such a beautiful garment. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Maybe I'll even make a beanie with it. I don't know. I've got some left over, but it was really, really beautiful. Whew. All right, the last couple things are quite small. Something I made this here. It's the what's it called? The flashback hoodie. I think, yeah, looks like this. And you can tuck it into a coat and it looks like you're wearing a nice cozy hoodie. I made this because I do go to the snow a fair bit, and I was going to Europe at the end of the year for their winter. So I did wear this in Europe, and it was nice and cozy. So I just held 3 strands of mohair together. Unfortunately, so I don't have many of the names of, or if I do, maybe it's on, you can find it on Ravelry if I write up some notes about these. I will get better at that for all my podcasts from now on, with what yarn I've used and maybe how much of it, etc. But yeah, for the moment, I don't have that many notes on what I use, but it is really beautiful, nice and soft and squishy. Yeah, that was a good one. Something else I made, my first pair of socks I made for a friend. I'll show you a photo somewhere here. And they were the SOS Basic Sock by Summerlee Knits and Summerlee Designs. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, it was really fun. It was for a friend's birthday, and he introduced me to a band that I really love now called Accept. I may not look it, but I like metal, bit of a metalhead, and yeah, I really like this band, and he showed me them, so I made the band logo towards the top of the sock. I've actually got another sock here, I'll show you in a second, but it was like here I put the logo, and then across the toes I wrote on the first 2 words on one toe and then the second 2 words on the other toe, and it was Balls to the Wall, which was the first song that he showed me from them. So that was my first sock knit. My second sock knit of the year was these Ode to Barbara socks by Summerlee Designs as well. I really love her sock patterns, and it's got this gorgeous pattern down the front, and nice ribbing up the back. It's got that toe and heel construction. This is my favorite. It's the slip heel construction is my favorite that I've noticed so far. I think I'm making almost my 4th sock at the moment. Maybe actually I just made 2 baby socks this past weekend, or week. So technically 6 socks, but they were a lot smaller and a lot easier to make. This unfortunately, the yarn, this hot pink, when I was the second time I was washing it, I think I didn't like block it the first time. So the first time that I washed it, it bled a little bit, which is kind of okay with, there was pink bits in this yarn already, but it was just a bit of a learning, maybe if there's something so vibrant as this compared with something not, especially for socks, which is pretty easy to just wash and block, sorry, not block, but yeah, yarn wash first in case there is that color bleeding. I don't really mind it, but if it was a different yarn combination, it might have hurt, because it did take a long time to knit these, and the pattern is just so beautiful. I highly recommend these. I like the basic patterns, like just the basic sock, but I haven't really been knitting them because I just think if I'm going to spend all this time, knitting a sock, may as well have it be as fantastical as possible. So I love the ones, especially with the designs. I think you've seen some of them in my podcast, and you'll see them going forward. I never thought I'd be a sock knitting person. I did make some socks once before, using completely inappropriate yarn, all of that, and I really didn't like them. So that was a shame, and they balled up and got gross really, really quickly. But now I know sock yarn is the way to go, and in hank form, they're so pretty. I've got like really cute mini sock set here. They're so cute, and I'm going to make a striped sock with these 5 colors. So I really got into sock knitting, and I never thought that I'd be that person that would be into making socks, but here I am. I've got 2 more on the needles at the moment, almost finished one of them, and as soon as they're both off, I'm be starting another pair. So I just really like, it's so fun to walk around the home with something just a little extra special. And usually I'll wear them with, I've got some sandal type looking Uggs, so to protect them and make sure that they don't get so dirty, I wear those with when I wear the socks. And yeah, I really love them. So I'll move on now. I'll stop raving about these socks. I also made, this is the, what beanie is this? It's the 1x1 rib by, I will put their name on the screen, but it's a very popular one. I'm just folding over the top, and I, again, didn't weave in this. I was thinking about weaving it in to actually stitch in the top so I don't have to keep folding it and it never folds out. But it was with, I made it with a sock yarn and a mohair, this beanie. It's got a really nice top decrease pattern. And I wore this in Europe quite a lot. However, I found that it was really itchy on my head, on my forehead. I'll put it on. I'm not going to pull it over my forehead right now, but, or maybe I'll just do a little bit. There, it looks funny. Yes, I wore it a lot in Europe, but I found that it was really itchy, and after about an hour, or even less, my forehead was just red. And I'm not sure if it's because of the mohair, or actually I've knit with this, just the green yarn since, like the sock yarn, and it is a little bit tough. So like, it's not the softest of sock yarns. So I'm wondering if maybe that's what was bothering me, because I've never really had issues with mohair before, or maybe it's just the mohair that I got. Something made it super itchy, so I'm gonna actually have to stitch in like a cover for my forehead. But in Europe, obviously I couldn't do this, so it was really stupid. But I was walking around with, I had like toilet paper between as a barrier, because it was really cold. I had to wear a beanie. I had toilet paper in between my forehead and the beanie, and occasionally it would just peek out, and my friend was like, Zoe, put it back up. And I'd stick the toilet paper back up behind the beanie so no one would see. But yeah, I mean, it worked. It was fine. I have just washed this though. I didn't block it before I went to Europe, and since then I've blocked it. So I'm wondering if maybe that softened it. From the feel of it, it feels like I still have problems. So I'll just put in a cotton, like a stretch cotton fabric in the brim, sew down the brim, and then no one will know that there's actually fabric in there to protect my forehead. So that's the plan for this one. Just one more I think left. Wow, okay. I also made these for Europe, finished them off in December, I think just after Christmas, or just before Christmas I finished these for Christmas markets. They're called the Marrakesh mittens, and I just had this old yarn. They're beautiful yarns, you know, the hand-me-down yarns from your mum who got them from her mum and all that sort of stuff. So it was nice. So I've got some of those yarns, and they're really beautiful, and I just thought it'd be fun to make a mixed Marrakesh mitten pattern with the different colours. So they're really beautiful. I'll put it on. There we go. They kept my hands nice and fairly warm. It was very cold in some places in Europe, but yeah, no, I was really happy to have these, and it felt a bit like Christmassy to be wearing some mittens like this. I made a mistake on this one and kept doing the pattern of the row below, and I thought, oh, should I pull it back? I thought, nah. It's all right, it's handmade. I made a mistake and I was okay with that. So sometimes it's, yeah, it was good enough and I was happy with it. I just wanted them finished so I could wear them, and yeah, I really love them. So I'm excited to wear them again. And I enjoyed the knitting process. I would recommend this pattern. I think it's really, really gorgeous. My gauge is quite different actually, I will say that. So I think I did 6 or 8 or something like that stitches less than in the pattern. So usually there's a lot more of this pattern going on. I'll share a photo of the the one that's made by, I can't remember who was the designer, but yeah, highly recommend the pattern. It's very easy to follow, and it's also very easy to change gauge if you need to, because you just do less stitches, and it all comes together really nicely. So that is the last one that I have to show you today. Now I'm going to continue sitting here and keep filming for all the things that I've sewn before 2024. So I hope everyone has a great day, and yeah, leave a comment below, tell me what was your favourite, just tell me what you thought. That would be nice. Thanks for watching. Bye.